Hello everybody, I am Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, and I am a lifelong Star Trek and Star Wars fan, watching classic era Doctor Who for the first time and reacting in real time for you, the Whovian. So, quick reminder that I appreciate feedback. The best way to do that is to either email at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com or alternatively just leave comments here on the YouTube channel. And I very much appreciate reading through those, responding to them, and learning all about Doctor Who, because I am a complete novice in all things Who, as I am sure I will ably demonstrate over the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. Quick reminder to check out the audio podcast, the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike, where we rewatch shows that we have seen before and franchises and all of that good pop culture-ness. And also just check out some of the other videos on the channel as well, where I also do some music reactions and other little bits and pieces. But I'm not going to mess around. Let's get into it. We are now going to watch Hidden Danger, the third part of the Sensorites serial. So let's get into that right now.
You intend to try out the doctor's theory that they can't see in the dark?
Ian, man of action.
Don't interfere, please.
The young girl has agreed to go with us. She will not be harmed. Why do you follow us now?
She must not go with you.
So is this some sort of suggestion that Susan has some kind of ESP or is particularly in tune with this? Or is this all the Sensorites' work here?
Do not come any nearer.
Interesting antagonists, these Sensorites.
To harm you in any way.
I said talk, not fight.
Intruders from other planets always say they wish to talk, but all they mean to do is destroy.
Ian, please let me go with them. Because I can use telepathy, they trust me.
Oh, yes. Okay, there you go.
You're not going with them, Susan. And that's final. Why? It's suspicion that's making them enemies. You don't understand the Sensorites.
Do you think I don't understand? Trust is a two-sided affair.
Putting us all in danger.
If you go with them, they will have all the advantage.
But they only want to talk to me.
I'm sorry, Susan, but I don't believe you have the ability to represent us.
Go admire the innocence of Susan.
You will do as you're told, Susan. Come here.
You tell her. You tell her, Doc.
Sorry, Grandfather, I can't do it.
This
Oh.
instant.
Teenage rebellion in the mid-1960s, eh?
The hand ray. Now, Chesterton. You were absolutely right, Doctor. They're helpless in the dark. Susan, go and join Carol. Wait there. I want to talk to you.
Well played, Doc.
The light, I'm afraid.
You stole the lock from our ship. You also threatened to take us prisoner.
They have a lot of trouble with the TARDIS, don't they? I mean, it's a useful MacGuffin because they're so completely helpless without it that, if in doubt, have their ability to access their only means of travel and escape be put in peril. That's a very useful device.
We must ask for new orders.
What's that? Speak up.
I must refer this matter to the Sense Sphere.
You must be patient.
Oh, I won't be put fed up with this nonsense.
The Doctor's impatience is one of the many kind of endearing qualities that Hartnell brings to the character. And he's so convincing, I can't help but feel like he would have been like that in real life. I've got absolutely no basis for that, but, it's so convincing.
Try anything. Put the light out again. All right, I will.
So I'm to be treated like a silly little child.
If you behave like one, yes.
There is some interesting generation gap stuff going on here. It's tempting to take the Doctor's side because of just the amount of peril that Susan's found herself in. But at the same time, you can kind of see both of their points of view here.
You will not make decisions on your own accord. Now, do you understand? Is that quite clear?
There you go. There's the theme of this one.
Look, I'm not saying I'm as clever as you or anything.
Because it is a truth conversation that must have been happening a lot in this time. The idea of delegation, the idea of, I'm a parent, I understand this. It's this idea that you know best, and you probably do, but you still need to kind of let go of the bicycle seat and let your children or your wards learn and fail and risk and feel pain and feel consequence. And it's a difficult thing to do, and this was happening at a societal level in 1964, I would imagine.
Of course I'm not.
In all the years my granddaughter and I have been traveling, we have never had an argument. And now you have caused one.
Interesting.
All right, Grandfather. I'll do as you tell me.
Let's work together and see if we can't get the lock of the...
That was too easy. There's going to be consequences here.
From the first elder is that
Freedom.
you can really see why they cast Peter Cushing in the films. Him and Hartnell have got such a similar bearing and kind of gait, and the way that they enunciate. I don't know if that's a theatrical thing or whether that's just of the time, or I guess maybe military. We weren't too far out from World War II here, and they would have been contemporary to that. So, yeah, there's definitely a bearing that was a thing at the time that is really kind of fun to watch.
All right, John, I'm here.
The voices.
All right, John. Try not to.
Poor John. He's had a rough time of it. Great performance from the actor. He's really committing. Looking at this actor in the Sensorite mask, I'm just wondering if, with Star Trek and a lot of the other franchises I'm into, there's a very healthy convention circuit. And I know that in the States, that started in the early 70s out of Star Trek fandom. I'm just wondering what the history of that is in the UK with Doctor Who. Does that have like a burgeoning convention scene or whatever the UK equivalent of that would have been in the 70s? And the reason I ask this is I'm seeing this actor here with the mask, and I can just imagine him sat at a table, trestle table, signing autographs, with a picture of his actual face next to a picture of him in his Sensorite garb. And I'm just wondering, was that a thing? I'm sure it is now, along with all the other franchises. But in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, did people go to function rooms in hotels for Doctor Who conventions? I can only imagine that they did. But I'd be really curious to see what that looks like, because my main experience of conventions is very much the American model. The Hilton creation convention style of convention is kind of what I'm used to. So I'm curious to know what would the UK grassroots Who convention look like. That's something I'm very interested in.
Then we accept.
Oh, very well then.
And the idea of these kind of monstrous-looking creatures that were, introduced in a freaky, scary, hiding behind the sofa, classic Doctor Who way, but are actually portrayed as being, physically weak and somewhat, anxious is kind of interesting
10
and
years
progressive.
ago, 5 human beings landed on the scent sphere.
Well, my dear, reluctant as I am to leave you, I'm afraid we have no alternative.
Oh, I shall be all right. I'm more worried about you.
Oh, I should manage.
Yeah, Barbara's pretty self-sufficient now, isn't she, after all the business with the Aztecs? You can see a lot of confidence in there. And look at Ian. Look at his pride and admiration for his friend there.
Susan, sorry about this, Punter.
I keep telling you I shall be all right.
All right.
Susan.
Touching arms.
Yes?
Scandalous.
I know how you feel.
You were elected to lead our people because of your great brain. I would not dare to question your actions.
So you value intelligence here in this culture. It's good.
No opinion
Wish we did.
can be worse sometimes than a very dogmatic one.
I am only guarding the first elder. One suspicious act, and the disintegrator will destroy them.
Very well. But you will do nothing further until I have considered the matter.
The disintegrator doesn't sound very pleasant.
I shall not wait. We will not be safe until these Earth creatures are dead.
I'm glad to have left those silent people.
Dear.
Earth people are not popular.
Because your people have been dying?
Yes.
It must be explained to them. Disease, if that's what it is, isn't anybody's fault. Besides,
This is something that Hammer did quite a lot, where because the size of the sets and the camera movements were limited, you'd put a lot of stuff in the foreground to give a sense of density, and you couldn't show your environment too much from a panning left and right perspective. So you front load the image and get a sense of here. So when you see these plants and these fountains, it creates a kind of visual opulence, a mise en scène, to use a theatrical film term. But and it works very well.
there's cures and preventives.
There is no disgrace in being in any of the casts. It is simply what one is best fitted for.
Getting a bit of social commentary about equity, inequality.
It's all right, John. I'm here.
The evil mind.
He can tell the difference between good and evil people. He's trying to tell us something.
A moral barometer. Useful.
3 places have been assigned to the Earth creatures.
3. There's rolling R's. A lot of actors used at the time.
4.
Enunciation.
9 are the hearts of the human creatures of their bodies, on the right or in the center, as in ours.
I do not know.
Then I will aim the beam at the center of the
Doesn't the
chest.
Doctor have 2
Each case.
hearts?
That will prove fatal.
Yes. 2, 8, 7.
If in doubt, cut your losses. Go for the middle.
He is a good man. Not like...
Not like who, John?
Thank you for
Useful.
being so understanding.
It doesn't alter the fact
should keep
that
him.
you're responsible for his condition. I think
Deanna Troy in Star Trek. But more useful.
Not condemn before you know the facts. Facts? What facts, sir?
Grandfather, please don't.
Very well. Please sit at the places set for
He
you.
just can't help himself going. He's just at 11 the whole time.
They are just taking their positions.
Get ready to fire.
Because they are reasonable, they are civilized.
They are Earth creatures and dangerous to us.
I tell you, they are talking with the first
Good on you, mate.
and in a most friendly fashion. And mine the metal and transport it back to his own planet. We saw the pictures
Greed.
in his mind,
Natural resources.
and we saw that it was the end.
Definite
of our
allegory going on here.
Our leaders are grown weak.
I will follow you, the city administrator. Command me.
I thank you for your loyalty. You shall have
Oh,
my
it's a
confidence.
classic
Gladly accept.
Doctor Who local alien race politics going on here.
If they do not change their attitude, for the moment,
These local power struggles are definitely a thing.
the time for action will not be far away.
So you are the senior elder.
signified by the twin sash I wear. The second elder, my advisor, wears one sash. Our
Nice
consensus
detail,
was a
that.
similarity.
Would you mind telling us something about the... I beg your pardon. The disease?
Yes, would you tell us about it? We might be able to help you.
I intended to. We need help with this calamity.
Something afoot.
Disease is invisible. We have been fortunate. Yes, it might be a clue. But what I hope, sir...
He's just not bothered at all, is he? Look at him.
that if my friend
He is
and
just
I-
choking over there.
Where your scientists fail, will you return the lock of my ship?
It would be a just return.
Such a great face. I say this every episode, but I can't. It's
Yes,
true.
she's a fine young woman. Is this a symptom?
Got an allergic reaction or something?
Ian!
Oh my gosh, Ian.
Conscious.
There is no hope. Your friend is dying.
Oh dear, not Ian. Not my boy. A Race Against Death. Again, another great pulpy title. You know, I'm enjoying this one. I'm enjoying this storyline. I don't know whether I went in with just lowered expectations because a few people had said that this was considered by many or by some to be a lesser serial. But I'm really enjoying this. I think there's a nice allegorical element going on. Sure, there's a little bit of the local politicking, vying for power, which is a bit of a repeated theme. And I think sometimes feels like it's there to bloat out these storylines to meet their 4 or 6 episode mandate. But I think that the subtextual stuff and the kind of the using the assumption that, you know, the monstrous are always evil by giving these characters complexity and depth, I think works. And there's also some really great interplay between the characters in this. You know, the struggle between Susan and the Doctor, that generational thing, the increasingly familial, friendly, banterous relationship between the key characters, and the increased sense of shared history between them as well, I think really works. So I'm really looking forward to A Race Against Death, the 4th episode of the Sensorites story. So a quick reminder to send feedback either to rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com or more easily, just leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. Check out all the other videos on the channel. Also check out the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike audio podcast that shares this channel, and I'll be back very soon. So look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.